Hello and welcome to the DiLive Podcast. Today we are talking about how to manifest joy in our life. And you might think to yourself, why would I want to do that? Why do we want to live in joy, with joy? And I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a day or days on end, maybe months on end, where you've just felt meh, like just nothing going on? You're going through the motions day in, day out, but you just are not feeling it or anything perhaps. And you may even start to think, wow, I'm really, feeling quite depressed perhaps. Joy, I want to talk about with you because joy is almost not something we have to manifest because joy is already in us. Have you ever come across a young little child? I've got a little child in my life at the moment, 14-month-old granddaughter. And when you look at that girl, there is no shadow in her. She is pure joy. She might cry because she's fallen over or she wants her dinner or, she can't sleep. But when any other time, she's right there and her just beaming. And you'll find that with all young children. They haven't learnt or been trained in how to think other than joy. So that's very indicative of the fact that what's in us is joy, like the very life in us. One of the, if you wanted to talk about the qualities of the life in us, one of them is joy. And joy is not dependent on what's happening around us. And again, look at a young child. They don't look out and think, oh, it's not sunny today, I'm really sad. They are just expressing joy. And so joy is not dependent on how wealthy we are financially, whether we have a job that lights us up, whether, our boyfriend's just broken up. Nothing is dependent on whether we have joy in us. It's about whether we're allowing ourselves to express joy. Now, I know I've had times in my life where if you'd said that to me, I would have probably turned this podcast off right now because I think, well, if my life isn't really lighting me up, how can I experience joy? And that's why I want to talk about this, because joy is about feeling good, but in the way of gratitude and appreciation. So, for instance, think about some things in your life that you appreciate. And again, you might start at a level that you think, oh, I can't find anything. But I want to take you down, or maybe up, to the simple things of life that you actually have that you may not even recognize that you are appreciating each and every moment of your life. Like, how is your health? Can you walk? Can you move? Can you take a breath of fresh air? Do you enjoy eating? Do you enjoy conversation? Is there someone in your life that you enjoy being with or seeing every day or smiling at on the bus when you take the bus to work? There are so many elements to our life every single day that if we're conscious of them, and that's a key word, if you want to write something down about joy, what are you conscious of? And look for it. There is joy all around us. And we're actually hardwired to tune into that because the very essence of life in us is joy. And so when we start to consciously look for and recognize, it becomes a bit of a treasure hunt, to be honest. It's like, oh, what can I find today in this situation? Where's the joy? Because it's there. And as we start to look for those things, and a bit like a child on a treasure hunt, you're expecting to find it, it raises your vibe. Now, vibe is just feeling. Our awareness of the vibe we're in is our feeling. And so as you start to feel better, you're raising your vibration. And that's attractive. You would have heard the law of attraction. There's a lot of talk about that now. It's a thing. It's a universal law, and it's the way this whole world, this whole universe operates is by this law of attraction. And so you, in your life, no matter what you're experiencing right now, as you raise your vibe, as you raise your feeling to be a better feeling, I'm not saying you go from being completely down and out to feeling joy, but there is a ladder that you can walk, and just to raise your vibe a little bit is going to start to attract more things in your awareness that will raise your vibe. Okay, so the better it gets, the better it gets. That's how the law of attraction works. Just like if you're looking for things that make you feel ordinary, the worse it gets, the worse it gets. It's that law of attraction. So as you raise your feeling and look for ways to do that. It could be the simplest things, a sunset, a sunrise, the sound of a bird in the morning, anything. I want you to start looking for those things that aren't conditional in your life. They're just what's around you and that you're enjoying now. That's raising your vibe, and you are starting to really ramp up your attraction to the things that are joyful in your life. So it's a good idea, we're very habitual beings. So think about your day. You roll out pretty much the same. Even people that say to me, I don't have a routine, that's a routine. Like, they're routinely not organised, but there are things you do every day. If you were to set up some habits that will create joy, that will encourage joy, things like fun, again, children are really good at this. They seem to make fun with everything you ask them to do. I remember my girls, you're getting them ready for bed and you're trying to get this show on the road, and all they want to do is, oh, look at this and look at that, and they start having fun. And as an adult, I used to shut that down a bit because I'm like, come on, we've got to get this going. I want you to start thinking about your life and how can I introduce fun into what I'm doing, because that, again, will raise your vibe. Even watching things on Netflix or whatever it is that you're viewing, choose things that make you feel good. There's a lot we can watch that doesn't feel good. Be really noticing that. So habitually notice the way you feel and introduce fun into your world habitually. Meditation is another way to raise our vibe, and that's interesting. I was never a meditator until I realised that just by quietening my mind, that alone allows my vibe to rise, because I've stopped my incessant thinking and figuring out and worrying, and that can really hold us down, our vibe. When we let go of all of that and just be and just breathe and allow your mind to be still, that will raise your vibe. One of the best ways to raise your vibe is gratitude. It's interesting to note that we can't think two things at the same time. So if you're thinking thoughts of appreciation and gratitude and looking for those things in your life that you think, I do really appreciate that, at that moment you cannot be thinking thoughts that are anti-joy. So gratitude is a really quick way, and it's a quick way to raise your vibe and to raise that momentum. So imagine if you had a rampage of appreciation and you just were going off about things that you appreciated. That is a really strong vibe, and it increases the momentum of that. So appreciation, let that be, gratitude, looking for the good, let that be a habit in the way that you live, and that will raise your vibe. And no matter what you're experiencing in your life right now, that will change that. You will notice, if you will consistently do that, you will notice the joy that is the essence of who you are start to be released and attract what you'd really like to be experiencing more of. And so remember, as you go about all of this, and until it's a real habit, you may feel a little stuck and it might feel a bit stilted. The truth is, the essence of you is joy. Okay, there's an element in you that is joy, and so when you allow yourself to be that, that's who you really are. And so looking for opportunities to express that, and it will become easier and easier to do. Thank you for listening to us today. We love sharing this information. When I started in this information nearly 10 years ago, it really changed my life, and I want to share that with you. You might be someone that's across this and you love it, or you might be someone like I was when I first started, a little doubtful that this is for you or this can be for you. I used to look at a lot of people and think, well, that's great for them. They're obviously loving their life, but I don't think I got that ticket. I can absolutely assure you that you can, and you have got what it takes. So if you're feeling like you'd like a little bit more encouragement, I would delight to have a chat with you. That's certainly how I started, just to get a little bit of understanding about my situation and get going. So there's a link below to click for that, and you can book in and we can have a quick chat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next podcast.